Pokémon Legends Z-A looks incredible. We're going back to Kalos, we got a brand new fighting mechanic style better than from Scarlet and Violet, and Mega Evolutions, the single most hyped feature in Pokemon history. This game should be a slam dunk, and maybe even a masterpiece to some people, except for one massive, glaring problem. Dexit is back. Pokemon Legends Z-A does not include all 1,000 Pokemon. Once again, hundreds of your favorite Pokemon will be trapped in Pokemon Home, unable to enter the new game. And this time, it's not just a disappointment, it's a decision that fundamentally misunderstands why people wanted Megas back in the first place. This isn't just a misstep, it's a massive failure in concept. Now, before we get into why this is such a disaster, let's be clear on what Dexit actually is. Before 2019, every new main series Pokemon game let you trade in all of your old Pokemon from previous generations. The motto was, "Gotta catch 'em all." With Pokemon Sword and Shield, Game Freak broke that promise. They announced that only Pokemon in the Galar Pokédex would be programmed into the game. Hundreds of Pokemon were cut, and the fan backlash was, and still is, the biggest controversy in the Pokemon franchise's history. Their excuse? They said it was to quote-unquote improve animation quality. That excuse falls flat, and it falls even flatter now. We all know the real reason. The Pokemon Company is on a brutal annual release schedule. They don't have time to model and animate every Pokemon, so they just cut corners. The limited Pokédex is a symptom of a larger problem. But for Pokemon Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet, you could almost understand it. Arceus was a smaller, experimental game focused on Hisui, and Scarlet and Violet were true open-world games. You could argue that a curated list of Pokemon made sense for the new region, but Legends Z-A? This game is centered entirely around Mega Evolutions. Think about what made Megas so special in X and Y. It wasn't just that some new Kalos Pokemon got them, it was that all the generations were celebrated. Forgotten Pokemon like Beedrill, Pidgeot, Lopunny, and Mawile were suddenly thrust into the spotlight, becoming competitively viable and getting insanely good new designs. Mega Pokemon were a love letter to the entire National Pokédex. It was a promise that any Pokemon from any generation could be next. We spent 10 years fantasy crafting new Mega Evolution Pokemon. Like, what if Mega Flygon was Bug/Dragon type? What if Mega Feraligatr got Tough Claws? This is the fantasy, and that is the hype. And now, Pokemon Legends Z-A is bringing that mechanic back, but gutting the fantasy that made it special. If your favorite Pokemon isn't one of the 300 or 400 selected for the Pokemon Legends Z-A Pokédex, it doesn't matter. It's not getting a Mega, it's not even getting in the game. This isn't a celebration of the franchise, it's a curated, limited time event. This decision creates an immediate and obvious problem, really. Like, let's look at the new Megas that were introduced. We have Mega Feraligatr, Mega Meganium, and, oh wait, Typhlosion isn't on the list? Well, no, because Typhlosion just got a new form in Legends Arceus. So are they going to skip it, or does this immediately make the Johto trio feel more lopsided and incomplete? Because that's the way it makes me feel. And what about the other starters? Scarlet and Violet starters are the newest. Will Meowscarada, Skeleridge, or Quaquaval get Megas? Like, probably not. They're way too new. What about the Legends Arceus starters? Decidueye, Samurott, and Typhlosion already got new forms, so why are they cut from the game entirely? You see the problem? The moment you don't have the National Pokédex, the entire system of Mega Evolution, which is built on celebrating 25 years of Pokemon history, starts to crumble. Instead of being an exciting discovery, it's now a source of frustration. We're not asking who will get a Mega, we're asking who won't be cut so they can get a Mega. So why do they do this? It's not for animation, and it's clearly not for the fan experience. It's because the Dexit model is, unfortunately, profitable. Think about it. Why would they give you all 1,000 Pokemon in one $70 game when they can sell you a limited roster now and then sell you another 300 Pokemon in a $30 DLC next year? This is unfortunately the new model. The National Pokédex isn't gone. It's just being disassembled and is being sold back to us in pieces, game by game, DLC by DLC, all while we pay a subscription fee for Pokemon Home to store the Pokemon that should have been in the game from the start. It's a brilliant, cynical, and anti-consumer business strategy. And by bringing back the most hyped fan favorite feature, Megas, they're really just stress testing just how much we're willing to put up with it. They're betting that your excitement for Mega Charizard will be so high that you'll forget that they cut Arcanine or Torterra or Swampert, the list goes on and on. This is really where the community is divided. We saw this with Sword and Shield, and we're seeing it again now. There are groups of fans, just like in the critical reviews for Pokemon Legends Z-A, that are saying, this is terrible, don't buy this game. They're pointing out that the game looks pretty empty and that the sales are collapsing compared to mainline games, and this is just more slop from a company that doesn't care. Then you've got the other side, the people who are just so happy to be getting anything new that they'll defend it. They'll say, a limited Pokédex is fine, it makes the region feel more unique. Or, stop complaining, at least we're getting megas at all. But at least it's not worse isn't a compliment, it's a hostage situation. The Pokemon Company is the highest grossing media franchise on Earth. This isn't an indie studio struggling to get by. We all know they can do better. Legends Arceus, for all its flaws, was a better game. It enhanced the formula, it was innovative, and its limited Pokédex made sense for its story. Legends Z-A is taking that goodwill and spending it on a concept that is fundamentally flawed, a quote-unquote celebration of Pokemon's history that intentionally excludes 70% of that history. I want Pokemon Legends Z-A to be good, because I know that for every cool new Mega they announced, that there are 800 other Pokemon that are being left behind in the dust. So what's the solution? Honestly, there isn't an easy one. As long as we buy the games, the Pokemon Company has no incentive to change. They proved that with Sword and Shield, and they're proving it again right now. They're betting that your nostalgia for Mega Evolutions is stronger than your desire for a complete game. And the worst part is, they're probably right. But what do you think? Is a limited Pokédex a deal breaker for you, or are you just happy that Mega Evolutions are back at all? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.